We all know this feeling. Exam phase is coming up and we haven't really studied and we don't want to and we're not really planning to. But still, we have to. So, let me show you a study system that I have adapted recently that as long as you have about 1.5 months until your exam, you can still ace it. And the study system contains 5 stages, so before talking too much, let's get right into it. We all have to start somewhere, and this is something we all probably do, and that is summarizing. But it's a very essential step as well because summarizing defines which parts are we learning and which not. When summarizing, you're deciding which part are you leaving out and which you don't. So I'm currently in college and I get my presentations weekly from my professors. And from there, I sit down and start summarizing. But I don't just write it down on some pages and continue the next day on another one. That way, you just lose track of it and you don't have anything organized. My first problem, or the first problem I see here, is that studying with handwritten notes works way better than with typed notes. So we have to digitalize it because otherwise we have tons of papers piling up over the years of studying or over how much you're studying. And personally, I use Freenotes, but there are countless noting apps, Notability, GoodNotes, Apple Freeform, whatever works best for you. You can even use handwritten papers and then scan it into a printer and still keep the paper version, which would make this whole digitalization useless, but everyone has their own preferences when studying. And then I use something I learned from a book I read recently, and that is Brain Hacks. And smart advertisement here for myself, I have summarized this complete book into chunks that you can easily get to and read on my website. Just click the link in my bio. But back to the main point here. I learned from this book a method called chunking, but you can read more about it on my website. Let's say you've studied just the way we've talked about. That means, so what I personally do is I create project folders for every class I have, and in there, I just upload the folder from the structure. Or you have to upload each file manually depending on the AI you're using. For students, I recommend Perplexity, and I'm not getting paid to say this, but I used all kinds of AI. I have used Pro ChatGPT, Pro Gemini, Pro Claude for at least 2 or 3 months and tried it all out. And I started using Claude about a month ago. And it is just what all these others have in one. And as a student, you don't need crazy coding, even for vibe coding. So you don't really need Claude or Codex. So getting to the point, use Perplexity. They have a 50% off for students. I'm not getting paid to say this. This is for everyone. You don't get a code from me or something. This is just what they offer. It's like their pro plan for students. And yeah, Perplexity also has a deep research feature that is way better than the deep researches from the other AI models. But I would say just do your own research and choose your own AI. Okay, so now you have those concepts and you use AI to explain it to you, or you watch videos, or you combine it. And the most important thing is, after you've watched the video, you're not done. The same with AI. After you generated an answer, you're not done. Try to actually understand it and explain it yourself to someone else, or explain it to yourself and be honest with yourself. Do you understand the thing you're explaining? If yes, great, write it down and add it to the summaries. And if not, redo it, simplify it, try other explanations, and at some point you just get it. And as well, add it to your summary. And with that, you have already done the hardest part and the most time consuming part of all of it. And since you don't want all that time and effort you put into that go to waste, you gotta continue to study. But don't worry, it's not gonna be that bad. You've understood everything, you have maybe everything in your head right now, and that is perfect. But you still have, let's say, 3 weeks until the exam, or maybe a month still, depending when you're studying. So what I want you to do now is to study every day. And yes, every topic, every day, or almost. So what I recommend here is to get a flashcard app. I personally use Anki. You can use others as well. There are loads of them like Quizlet, but with Anki, you just don't get an ad for a subscription every time you open it. So yeah, I use Anki, and they have the FSRS. It's like an algorithm that calculates how likely you are to forget a flashcard and then gives it to you to redo it once again so you don't forget it. And of course, the same benefit here, it's digital, so you don't need to take hundreds of flashcards around with you. Okay, so now you've reached the point where you basically have done everything. You have summarized it, structured all your notes, you're rewinding it every day so you won't forget anything. But there's one thing missing, and that's practice. And it's also one of the most essential things, because you can know everything. If you don't know how to use it, it won't help you. Yeah, that's just basically the last thing you need to do. And when it comes to practice, I wouldn't start earlier than 2 weeks before the exam, for the reason because you don't have too many practice sheets, tasks, exercises, mock exams. In my opinion, you can start earlier if you want to and if you feel way more comfortable with that. But personally, I just start 1 or 2 weeks before, and that way I can get more exercises in the same amount of time, and it's not too far away from the exam itself, so maybe I can memorize a few types of tasks or exercises, which will help me in the exam. With that being said, I just gave you a full 5-stage study course system, whatever you want to call it, that I use, and which helps me really well to stay motivated and learn a lot and actually be able to use it and understand it. But before I finish this video, there are 2 more things I want to talk about, and the first thing is why the system works. And that is, it starts with the first stage of summarization. You're building a foundation early, not 2 weeks before, but already 1.5 months before, like in optimal condition. And second, after that, you start to understand these concepts and not just have an overview, which just anchors the knowledge because you actually understand it. There's also a scientific proof for that. It's called taxonomy after Bloom. I have that in the book I read as well. So again, advertisement for myself, check out my website. You have anchored knowledge and concepts. From there, you just start to rewind it regularly. That way you won't forget. And the last step is the practice, where you use everything you've learned. And this system cannot be beat. There are obviously other setups for this, so it always goes like that: learn, understand, and use. But this is just my specific way. And the second thing I want to talk about is why you shouldn't use solely AI. For the people who like to use AI, I did that as well, especially in school, and it did all my tasks for me. But the problem with AI is that you are not learning it. And I know everyone's saying that, and I used to roll my eyes as well, but you have to actually understand it. This is very important. It doesn't help you if the AI does the work for you, because you didn't learn it. And yes, I agree, there are a lot of things we don't need to study in school. I don't want to get deep on that, but you still need to learn it. And that's just how the system works. But the problem here is, when you don't learn it and you have a task and you ask AI to do it, and AI doesn't get it or can't do it in that moment, you still have to get it done, but you don't know how to do it. And that's going to be a problem. But if you learned about it and you still know how to do it, you can use the AI to help you make it way more efficient. And if AI doesn't get it, you still can get it and do it if it has to be manually, and it's going to take longer, but you still can get the task done and you're not going to get into trouble. And this is something I learned not from AI, but from general experience. So for example, at work, if you have a task and you don't know how to do it, but you were given a handbook or whatever, and you could have read it, but you didn't do it. And then you suddenly have to do the task and you can't do it because you didn't read the book. AI is a great tool to make work way more efficient and to make you way more productive. But every AI still needs someone to control it if it gets out of hand or does the wrong things. And that has to be you. Great. I would say thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.